A jury is charged with a gravely important task to determine one's innocence or guilt.
Excluding black jurors has been illegal for 135 years, but the Action News 5 investigators uncovered evidence of racial discrimination in jury selection all across the Mid-South. Action News 5 investigator Lori Brown live tonight with the story. Lori.
Ursula, Joe, try to guess what year prosecutors made the following statements about why they excluded black jurors. Quote, I got a very long stare from him. He was unsophisticated. She was arrogant. These statements weren't made in 1875. They were made this decade.
Lee Bowdry may be tough on weeds, but from what I could tell, he wouldn't hurt a flower. Nevertheless, Bowdry was excluded from a jury in Lee County, Mississippi, because the prosecutor thought he might be, quote, hostile.
I didn't think that this still goes on in Mississippi today.
Bowdry is one of many people a study by the Equal Justice Initiative concludes was illegally excluded from a jury because he's African American. The Mississippi Supreme Court ruled, quote, racially motivated jury selection is still prevalent. Their case in point was the trial of Curtis Flowers, a white man accused of shooting and killing 5 people inside a furniture store in Winona in the summer of 1996. A jury made up of 11 whites and 1 black sentenced Flowers to death. Prosecutors used all 15 of their preemptory strikes on black jurors, often seen as less likely to enforce the death penalty. The Mississippi Supreme Court reversed the case for racially discriminatory practices during the jury selection. Flowers' next 2 trials ended in hung juries, split along racial lines.
What's remarkable about the case is that even after the court reverses, you still see people of color being excluded by the prosecutor.
We asked Memphis Mayor A.C. Wharton, a former trial attorney, if he thinks the practice of excluding blacks from Southern juries is widespread.
Here's where it flows from. Let's just deal with it, which is racist in its origin. Well, they're black. The defendants are black. So you know they're going to go with the defendant. That is absurdly and unacceptably racist. There aren't black people running around and you say, we like crime. Oh, we love it. We just love it. They're marauding our neighborhoods and they're killing our children and they're poisoning our children. We just love that.
Another case cited by the study comes from Madison County, Alabama, where a prosecutor struck 11 of 14 potential black jurors because he said one was unsophisticated. Others were arrogant and pretty vocal. District Attorney Rob BROUSSARD calls the race bias claims false.
It was never mentioned. I struck more than twice as many white people off the jury as I did black people. Race did not enter into my mind. You're talking about a white defendant, a white victim.
BROUSSARD says in his opinion, anti-death penalty activists are the real force behind claims of race bias.
Does this really come down to just attorneys trying to win their case more so than it being racial discrimination?
Yes, but again, yeah, it is. But America says you don't win at all cost.
Claims of discrimination go both ways. Mayor Wharton says he was accused of discrimination for dismissing a juror for hostility.
There was one juror who I noticed whenever the prosecutor was up, he's just smiling, he's just happy. But the minute I started questioning the attorney, like, you know, won't you hurry up and get this over so we can hang this guy? And I told the court quite convincingly that there was hostility, it was palpable, I could see it, and the judge allowed me to strike that person, not because he was white.
Unlike Wharton's case, Bowdry says he wasn't asked a single question.
Some things change and some things never do.
Brian Stevenson with the Equal Justice Initiative says things will never change until there are fines or sanctions for discrimination in jury selection.
Until we make this consequential, this problem is going to continue.
Bowdry says he hopes someday there can be liberty and jury duty for all.
The Equal Justice Initiative studied juries in 8 southern states, including Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee. You can read the study online by clicking on the link with this story at WMCTV.com. Researchers say one reason it's important to have blacks on juries is because other decision makers in the justice system are mostly white. In fact, all district attorneys in Arkansas and Tennessee are white. Reporting live, Lori Brown,